In a first-class flight with a renowned airline famous for its impeccable service, Leah, a black woman in her 30s, boards for an important business trip. Elegant yet understated, she wears simple clothing, a sober suit, comfortable shoes, and a classic watch. Unlike some first-class passengers, she does not seek to flaunt her wealth. She prefers to remain unnoticed, away from envious stares or prejudices. However, her casual demeanor hides an impressive story. Leah is the head of an international luxury hotel chain, built from scratch through her perseverance and strategic intelligence. Her entrepreneurial journey is marked by success. The daughter of modest immigrants, Leah climbed the business ladder through hard work and a unique vision of modern hospitality. Each hotel she owns is known for its refined design and impeccable service, attracting wealthy clients from around the globe. Despite this outstanding success, Leah remains humble, aware that power and money should never overshadow humanity and integrity. This flight to a prestigious European city is crucial for her business. She must meet potential investors to negotiate an ambitious expansion of her hotel empire. However, she is not nervous. She is accustomed to making big decisions and high-level negotiations. What she does not know is that this day will not be defined by business, but by an unexpected lesson in dignity in the face of arrogance. As soon as she enters the cabin, flight attendant Chloe adopts a haughty attitude towards Leah. With a quick glance, she assesses the passenger, her plain clothing and appearance, which in her eyes do not meet the first-class standards. A slight smirk appears on her face, barely concealing her disdain. Chloe, accustomed to serving wealthy and often demanding clientele, is convinced that Leah does not belong to this exclusive circle. To her, Leah is just a black woman dressed simply, a combination that, based on her prejudices, doesn't fit into this luxurious environment. Without even realizing it, Chloe adopts a condescending tone during their first interaction. "Hello, madam. Are you in the right place?" she asks, with a falsely kind tone but a hint of suspicion in her voice. Leah, calm and composed, nods politely, not acknowledging the insinuation. Chloe, clearly unconvinced, casts one last glance before moving on to attend to the other passengers, all white and ostensibly more appropriate, according to her criteria. When she returns moments later to take Leah's order, she does so with palpable coldness. Chloe asks, without a smile, "Would you like something to drink, madam? We have champagne, top-quality wine, or maybe just a simple glass of water." Leah, having sensed the subtle contempt behind the flight attendant's words, elegantly requests a glass of water, choosing to ignore her rude attitude. However, Chloe seems to take perverse pleasure in prolonging the wait. While she ensures that all the other passengers receive their drinks quickly, Leah is left aside. Each request from Leah is met with delayed service or a curt response. When the glass of water finally arrives, it is placed abruptly on the tray in front of her, without any courtesy. Leah takes a calm breath, refusing to give in to irritation. She has often encountered this kind of behavior in environments where appearance determines the respect one receives. It is a form of subtle discrimination, insidious yet deeply ingrained. Throughout the flight attendant continues to make passive-aggressive remarks. "Madam, if you are not comfortable here, the economy section is just at the back. You might find more space there, perhaps," she says with a fake smile, knowing perfectly well that Leah has every right to be in first class. Each word seems calculated to remind Leah, without directly saying so, that she doesn't belong in this privileged space. These remarks do not go unnoticed. A few passengers exchange awkward glances, but none dare to intervene. They seem torn between embarrassment and a silent complicity with the flight attendant. For Leah, this type of situation is not new. She has faced similar attitudes throughout her career, whether in business meetings or places where wealth and power are measured by appearance. Yet, despite the subtle humiliation she endures, she maintains her usual calm. She knows there is no need to be carried away by emotion. Over the years, she has learned to stay stoic in such contexts, convinced that actions speak louder than words. Rather than reacting to the provocation, Leah prefers to observe the situation. She carefully studies Chloe's attitude, noting every detail, every misplaced behavior. She knows that this contempt is fueled by ignorance and arrogance, and soon, the truth will come to light. Each small humiliation that the flight attendant inflicts on her only strengthens her patience and confidence. Leah has nothing to prove to this woman or anyone else on this plane. She is here for important business, and nothing and no one will stop her from achieving her goals. For Chloe, however, this day is far from over. She continues to treat Leah with disdain, unaware of the surprise awaiting her upon landing. Leah's calmness, her discretion, all of it conceals a reality that Chloe cannot fathom. Leah does not need to assert herself loudly. Her mere presence in this cabin, despite the humiliation, speaks volumes about her success and resilience. Soon, Leah's true nature will be revealed, and Chloe will realize too late the mistake she made. Upon landing, as the plane slows down on the runway, a slight commotion spreads among the first-class passengers. Through the windows, they see an exceptional welcome, a row of black limousines parked on the tarmac, photographers ready to capture the moment, journalists holding microphones, and even the CEO of the airline himself, waiting gracefully for the passengers' arrival. The scene is unusual, even for frequent first-class travelers, and whispers begin to circulate. Chloe, the flight attendant, also notices the lavish reception and starts to speculate. She casts a quick glance at the passengers and smiles, convinced that the welcome must be for one of the regular clients, perhaps a businessman or a well-known investor sitting at the front. As the other first-class passengers begin to stand up, Chloe rushes to assist and attend to the distinguished ones, hoping to attract the attention of these influential figures, convinced that their recognition could help her advance in her career. As she looks at the faces, she expects one of these well-dressed men to descend from the plane under the camera flashes. To her, it seems obvious. Such a reception is reserved for high-ranking personalities, public figures, or industry moguls. She smiles politely at each passenger she crosses paths with, secretly hoping to be noticed for her competence. But her smile gradually fades as the scene unfolds differently than expected. While helping the suited investor disembark, none of the photographers take an interest in him. No flashes go off, no journalists step forward. The man, visibly disappointed himself, walks past the crowd without sparking any reaction. Chloe begins to feel nervous. She glances anxiously outside, trying to understand who all this attention is reserved for. It is then that Leah, who until now had kept a low profile, calmly rises from her seat. She adjusts her suit elegantly, tidies her belongings with the same serenity that had characterized her throughout the flight, and heads toward the plane's exit. Chloe, still completely unaware, watches her pass without truly understanding what is about to happen. She continues to think that the welcome is not for this simple, unassuming black woman. However, as soon as Leah steps off the plane, the atmosphere on the tarmac changes dramatically. The journalists rush toward her, the photographers snap frantically, and a wave of excitement sweeps through the crowd. All the gazes that moments ago seemed to ignore Leah now turn toward her with admiration. The CEO of the airline, a man in his 50s, descends from his pedestal to personally welcome her. He approaches her with a respectful smile, hand outstretched, and says enthusiastically, "Madam Leah, what an honor to have you with us today. Your presence is always a privilege." Chloe, still inside the plane, is frozen by the scene. Her gaze shifts from Leah to the CEO, then to the journalists. She is stunned, unable to believe that all this attention is really for the woman she treated with so much disdain throughout the flight. In that moment, the truth hits her with overwhelming force. Leah, the woman she had underestimated and ignored, is far more than just a passenger. She is a millionaire, a successful businesswoman whose influence extends far beyond what Chloe could have imagined. Worse still, Leah is known and respected by the CEO himself, a detail that underscores the significance of her status. Chloe's thoughts rush in. She recalls her condescending remarks, her haughty attitude, every moment she deliberately ignored or belittled Leah with comments about the economy section. She suddenly feels small, trapped by her own arrogance. This moment of humiliation is all the more intense because no one turns to look at her. She is invisible, just as she tried to make Leah invisible throughout the flight. Leah, on her part, remains unfazed. She slowly descends the plane's steps, greeting journalists and exchanging a few words with the CEO, all while maintaining her calm and natural elegance. She seeks neither revenge nor confrontation. The mere fact that all the attention is now on her, after she chose discretion throughout the trip, serves to mark the silent power she embodies. Her success speaks for itself, and she has never needed to raise her voice or ostentatiously display her wealth to prove her worth. Back inside the cabin, Chloe feels a lump form in her throat. Every detail of her behavior during the flight comes back to her mind with painful clarity. Her passive-aggressive comments, her disdainful looks, and especially her unfounded certainty that she was above Leah. The contrast between her attitude and the reality now explodes with a violence she cannot ignore. She realizes that behind Leah's simple clothes, she hid not only immense wealth but also an inner strength Chloe failed to see. A woman who didn't need to prove her worth with words or appearances, but whose dignity and calm spoke far louder than anything else. Chloe bitterly regrets her behavior, but she knows regrets are useless now. She has already made the mistake. The opportunity to show respect and professionalism has passed, and it is too late for redemption. A mixture of shame and frustration rises in her, forcing her to sit for a moment in one of the empty seats to catch her breath. She wonders if Leah will say a word to the CEO, if she will share her experience of the flight and the cold reception she received. The thought that such an incident could have repercussions on her career evokes a quiet fear within her. Yet, deep down, Chloe knows that Leah will likely never say a word. Her calm and composure throughout the flight have shown that she doesn't need confrontation to emerge victorious. This is where the lesson strikes hardest. Leah won't need to humiliate Chloe to make her understand her mistake. Her silence, accompanied by the flash of cameras and the respect shown by the CEO, is a punishment far greater than any formal complaint. Leah has let her success and personality speak for themselves. Chloe, on the other hand, is left alone with her regrets, aware that this day will mark a turning point in how she treats others. She has learned the hard way that appearances are deceiving, and that the true value of a person is not measured by their clothes or discreet manners. The flight attendant slowly gets up and begins to tidy the cabin, her mind still consumed by this bitter realization. What she feels goes beyond the simple fear of professional consequences. It is a deep reassessment of her values and judgments. She realizes that every passenger, whether rich or modest, deserves equal respect. That behind every face could be a story, a success, or a strength she doesn't know. She silently decides that, from now on, she will approach every flight with this newfound awareness, never underestimating anyone based on their appearance. With elegance, Leah gently turns toward Chloe, her eyes reflecting unwavering serenity. Chloe, frozen by shame and apprehension, expects a reproach, a sharp word, or perhaps even an official complaint, but what comes is much deeper. Leah, in absolute calm, offers her a kind smile before murmuring in a soft but firm voice. Sometimes, it's better to treat everyone with respect, no matter their appearance. These simple words resonate in the air, filled with wisdom and unexpected gentleness. It's a clear reminder, but without rancor or bitterness. Leah, despite the contempt she endured throughout the flight, chose not to seek revenge. She offers Chloe an opportunity to grow, to change, without ever putting her down. Her message, simple yet powerful, transcends words. It's not just about Chloe, but something much larger. Leah has transformed this tense moment into a lesson in humanity. The silence that follows is palpable. Chloe lowers her head, unable to meet Leah's gaze, her cheeks burning with shame. She now understands the gravity of her actions. But she is not the only one touched by this lesson. All around, the other crew members, the remaining passengers, and even those observing from a distance seem struck by the scene. There was no grand confrontation, no public argument, no bitter revenge, but something much stronger has occurred. Chloe now feels the full weight of her prejudices fall upon her. She had been wrong, blinded by superficial judgments. Leah, with her simple clothes, did not fit the image Chloe had of wealth and success. But at this moment, she realizes that true greatness does not lie in outward appearances, but in the way one chooses to treat others. The lesson is learned, deeply and irrevocably. It's not just Chloe who is transformed. Everyone who witnessed the scene, from the crew members to the other passengers, feels this wave of awareness. Leah, through her simplicity and dignity, has done more than share a few words of wisdom. She has offered a silent lesson on respect and humility. She has reminded everyone that appearance should never dictate how we treat someone. Leah, continuing her walk on the tarmac, surrounded by journalists and photographers, moves forward with the same grace and confidence that have marked her entire career. Each step is imbued with that quiet self-assurance that requires neither brilliance nor external validation. She doesn't need to look back, not at the plane, nor at Chloe. What happened on board doesn't deserve any more of her attention than the hundreds of other small humiliations she has endured over the years. These moments, however unpleasant, have never had the power to define her, let alone divert her from her goals. She knows who she is and what she has accomplished. Every obstacle, every condescending glance, every word of doubt has served as a building block for her success. The prejudice and disdain Leah encounters, often in silence, have become almost routine for her. But far from ignoring them or burying them, she has learned to transcend them. Her success, her dignity, and most of all, her calm in the face of adversity, are her most eloquent responses to these insidious attacks. The journalists surrounding her and the cameras capturing this moment don't know the intimate story that played out on board the flight, but they see an unshakable woman, a figure of elegance, whose mere presence commands respect. As she walks toward the waiting limousines, her mind is already no longer in the past, or even in the present moment. She's projecting into the future, toward her upcoming projects, her ambitions, her ideas in constant motion. Her luxury hotel chain, which she continues to develop with an innovative vision, calls to her. Other contracts, other strategic meetings await her. She leaves the scene on the plane behind like an evanescent memory, a silent lesson for those like Chloe, who still have much to learn about respect and humanity. Back on the plane, Chloe stands at the center of the cabin, her mind troubled by the events that have just unfolded. What she thought would be a routine day has suddenly taken a turn she never could have imagined. Her movements are slower, almost hesitant, as she begins to tidy up the first-class seats, but her mind is elsewhere. She reflects on every interaction with Leah, wondering how she could have been so blinded by her own prejudices. How could she have missed the quiet dignity, the inner strength emanating from that woman? Leah left neither anger nor reproach, but something far deeper, a lasting imprint. This lesson of humility and respect still echoes through the cabin. Chloe realizes that this moment of shame and regret could very well be one of the most important lessons of her life. The feeling of embarrassment that overwhelms her is so intense it feels almost palpable. But instead of being submerged by guilt, she decides, for the first time, to confront this reality. She needs to change. She now understands that respect is not a luxury granted based on wealth or appearance, but a fundamental value owed to every human being. Leah, through her calm and dignity, has shown her, without ever raising her voice, just how wrong Chloe was. She will never forget this lesson, which she is convinced will change the way she approaches not only her work, but her life. As for Leah, she continues on her path, unshaken, with the elegance and dignity that define her success. It is not prestige or wealth that defines this woman, but the way she faces adversity, and the way she chooses never to stoop to the pettiness of others. For Leah, each day is an opportunity to grow, to realize her ambitions, and to leave with each step an imprint of respect and dignity that others may choose, or not, to follow.